Today we're going to tell you a mind-boggling, mysterious murder story, but pay attention, every detail in this story is important. Watch until the end of the video, because you can try to guess who the killer is before the police do. When the maid arrived at the house, she called out to the owners, Annabelle and Pascal. But when neither of them answered, the maid went to the bedroom and called out to Annabelle and Pascal again. Seeing that they were unresponsive, she panicked and called the police. Police officers, crime scene investigators, and medical personnel quickly arrived at the scene. Annabelle was unconscious, but Pascal was dead. Medical personnel rushed Annabelle to the hospital. Later, according to information from the hospital, Annabelle had fallen into a coma. Police and crime scene investigators began searching and investigating the house. While examining the deceased Pascal, the crime scene investigation team found a wound the size of a needle puncture on his left calf. They took the glass found on the table in the room and a hair sample found on the floor and sent them to the crime lab for analysis. The police suspect that a lethal substance was injected into Pascal's leg. They suspect that Annabelle and Pascal poisoned each other, meaning they attempted suicide together. The crime scene investigation team informed the police team that they would issue a toxicology report. The answers to why Annabelle fell into a coma and why Pascal died will emerge from the investigation of the evidence collected during the autopsy. The police team began taking statements from the maid at the house. The maid said she hadn't seen anything, but when she saw Annabelle and Pascal were unresponsive, despite her calling out to them, she panicked and immediately notified Jack, her neighbor downstairs. Jack rushed to the house and tried to wake Annabelle and Pascal. The other police team began taking Jack's statement at the house. Jack told the police that the maid had frantically told him that Annabelle and Pascal were unresponsive. He stated that he had immediately gone to the house to try to wake Annabelle and Pascal, and that he had reported it to the police because they were still unresponsive. In her statement, the maid mentioned Pascal's ex-wife, Lila, whom he had divorced. The police then took fingerprints and DNA samples from the maid and sent them to the crime lab. In his statement to the police, Jack said that if Pascal had lived, they would have written a novel together. He then stated that Pascal and his ex-wife Lila constantly argued. The police team took Jack's fingerprints and DNA samples and sent them to the crime lab for examination. The police began taking a statement from the building superintendent. In his statement to the police, the building superintendent stated that he had not seen anyone and that there was no suspicious situation. The police then took the building superintendent's fingerprints and DNA samples and sent them to the crime lab for analysis. The police team went to the hospital to inquire about the health condition of Annabelle, who was in intensive care. Annabelle's doctor told the police that they found a very high amount of synthetic morphine in Annabelle's blood and that it was a very strong painkiller. The police asked the doctor if there were any signs of struggle or bruising on Annabelle's body. The police learned that there was a needle mark on Annabelle's leg. The police took Annabelle's fingerprints and DNA samples and sent them to the crime lab for analysis. The police later sent the syringe found in the garden to the crime lab for analysis. Meanwhile, the lab team continued to examine the fingerprints on the glass and the hair sample found on the floor. The police then went to the forensic morgue and examined the deceased Pascal. The maid was taken to the police station for questioning. During the interrogation, the police asked the maid who had the key to the house. The maid stated that she did not know. The police asked the maid why she was late coming home. The maid said she was late because she was taking care of her disabled son, and the maid stated that when she was on her way to Annabelle and Pascal's house, she sent a voice message to Annabelle's phone because she was late. The police then found the voice message the maid sent to Annabelle's phone in the crime lab, confirming the maid's statements. The police asked the maid if she knew Pascal's ex-wife Lila and if there were any problems between Pascal and his ex-wife Lila. The maid stated that Pascal and his ex-wife Lila divorced because they were constantly arguing. She said that Lila began to have psychological problems after she divorced Pascal. While the police team continued questioning the maid, another police team visited the crime lab and found a fingerprint belonging to a stranger on a glass in the house. They are continuing to investigate who this fingerprint belongs to. Later, when the police learned that Annabel, who was being treated at the hospital, had regained consciousness, they immediately went to the hospital. The police began taking Annabel's statement in the hospital room. In her statement, Annabel said that she went to bed with Pascal and fell asleep and didn't remember much, but she felt a slight pain in her sleep and thought she saw someone with long hair in the dark, but she said she didn't really see much. The police asked Annabel if she knew Pascal's ex-wife, Lila. Annabel stated that she had never met Lila, but that Lila constantly threatened Pascal and harassed him. The police asked Annabel if Pascal had been arguing with anyone recently. Annabel said that Pascal and Jack had argued recently. The subject of the argument was that they couldn't agree on the contract for the new comic book they were going to publish. After taking Annabel's statement, the police left the hospital. They went to Pascal's ex-wife Lila's house to take her statement. When the police told Lila that her ex-husband Pascal was dead, Lila fainted from grief. The police immediately called a medical team to the house for Lila. When Lila came to, she informed the medical team that she was taking psychiatric medication. The medical team contacted Lila's psychiatrist and called him to the house. Another police officer sent Lila's fingerprints and DNA samples to the crime lab for analysis. The crime lab's investigation revealed that the foreign fingerprints on the glass found on the table in the house belonged to Lila. The lab informed the police team that the fingerprints on the glass belonged to Lila. After Lila regained consciousness, the police began questioning her again. The police asked Lila when she last saw Pascal. Lila stated that she went to his house the day before Pascal died to see him, but could not remember anything after that. The police went to the crime lab and learned that the hair sample found in the house belonged to Lila. The police team obtained a search warrant for Lila's home from the prosecutor's office. Crime scene investigation and search teams began their investigation at Lila's home. The key found during the search of Lila's home, synthetic morphine ampules and Lila's diary, in which she frequently mentioned Pascal, were sent to the crime lab for examination. The investigation determined that the key was the key to Pascal's house. But the investigation into the diary and synthetic morphine found is ongoing. If you were in this situation, who would you find guilty? The maid, Jack, or Lila? Don't forget to write your comments. Later, the police took Lila to the police station for questioning. The police asked Lila if she had killed Pascal. Lila cried and declared that she had not killed him. The maid was questioned again at the police station. The maid said she had not given Pascal's house key to Lila. The police are trying to solve the murder, which is full of question marks. In the section I'm about to tell you, things get much more complicated, so listen carefully and try to catch the clues. And then, it turned out that Pascal was going to leave his inheritance to the maid and his neighbor, Jack. Upon the announcement of the will, the police team, suspecting that the maid and Jack might be involved, obtained a search warrant for the maid's house from the prosecutor's office. But the maid had a sick child at home. The police took the sick child outside. The crime scene investigation team began examining the house. No suspicious evidence was found during the search of the maid's house. Cat hair had been found in Lila's house. If you've watched up to this point, don't forget to like the video because the real big secret is about to be revealed. The police took hair and DNA samples from Annabel's cat and sent them to the crime lab for analysis. The results showed that the cat hair found in Lila's house belonged to Annabel's cat. If you've been watching carefully up to this point, you've probably guessed who the culprit is. The police then took Annabel to the police station for questioning. During the interrogation, the police asked Annabel if she knew Lila. Annabel said she did not. The police asked Annabel how her cat's hair ended up in Lila's house. Annabel said she did not know. The police obtained a search warrant from the prosecutor's office to search Jack's house and began searching Jack's house. During the search of Jack's house, bottles of synthetic morphine were found. The police then took Jack to the police station for questioning. The bottles of synthetic morphine were found taped under Jack's bed. During questioning, Jack told the police he knew nothing. In the final episode, a confession comes that solves the entire mystery. Don't miss it. As a result of the investigation in the crime lab, Annabel's fingerprints were found on the tape. And the police questioned Annabel again. Annabel began to confess her crime. Annabel went into a jealous rage when she heard that Pascal was seeing his ex-wife, Lila. She planned to kill Pascal and pin all the blame on Lila. She took the synthetic morphine she had ordered, took the key to Lila's house from Pascal's pants pocket, and secretly went to Lila's house. Annabel put the key to her own house between the pages of the book Lila was reading. She left the synthetic morphine drugs in a drawer in Lila's bedroom, and when Annabel picked up the diary on the table in the living room and read it, a single hair from the cat on Annabel fell to the floor. When Annabel returned to her own home that evening, she filled a syringe with synthetic morphine in her bedroom. Then she secretly hid it under her pillow. Then Annabel and Pascal went to bed and began to sleep. When Pascal fell asleep, Annabel secretly got up and injected a high dose into Pascal's leg. She injected herself with a low dose. She confessed to planning and carrying out the murder. Annabel was arrested after the police interrogation and sent to prison. This incident shows us once again that no crime remains hidden. To make sure you don't miss out on these mysterious and terrifying true stories, please subscribe to our channel, like our video, and don't forget to leave a comment. If you want to watch more mysterious and terrifying stories, see you in our next videos.